Møtrik, welcome to the show. We've got Amato on guitar and synth, Erik Golts on bass and vocals, Lee Ritter on drums, Jonah Nolde on guitar and backing vocals, and Dave Fulton on synthesizers. Can you start us off with a song?
Surely.
Sure.
That is Road Sound from Møtrik's new album, Earth, with Cord Amato on guitar and synth, Erik Golts on bass and vocals, and Smoke Machine. It's an important instrument or piece of this to mention. Lee Ritter on drums, Jonah Nolde on guitar and backing vocals, and Dave Fulton on synth. Lee, I read a great line you said about this band once. You said that you have a lot of bad ideas with excellent follow-through. I feel like we should take those two things one at a time. What are the bad ideas?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say they're necessarily bad ideas, but kind of harebrained and kind of things that most people would joke about and then never execute on. And in this group of musicians, we actually have the follow through to make some of those things happen. And some things like shooting fog out of a traffic cone, using a collapsible trash can as a fog cannon. It revolves around fog a lot.
Dave, would you rather be a band with great ideas and poor follow-through, or bad ideas and excellent follow-through?
I like what I have right now. This is
What you
perfect.
have?
This is perfect. The whole great ideas but bad follow-through. No. Bad ideas, yeah, with great follow-through. Yeah.
I mean, what does follow-through take in a band? Erik?
I think it takes everyone being on board with the bad idea or good idea or whatever. I think everyone being an advocate for Møtrik. I feel like everyone's kind of excited about being in Møtrik and hanging out and coming up with weird things to do, and that includes both stagecraft or, atmospherics as well as song ideas. And I think we all enjoy the process of bouncing ideas around. And then we're supportive of each other and like, yeah, let's do it. Let's try it. Yeah.
Cord, what is the origin story of the band?
I think it was Dave and Lee wanted to start a krautrock band. This is 13, 14 years ago. And their guitarist at the time didn't make the first practice, or jam sesh, so I lived very close to where they practiced. So Dave called me up and says, "Bring your guitar over here, we've got a project." So I came over, I think maybe with a bass or something, and then they were all there, and I guess 14 years later, here we are. Luckily, that other guitarist never did materialize.
And you could stay.
Yeah, I could stay.
Lee, was there a moment when you remember gelling as a band? I mean, there's tons of folks who get together, sometimes with shared musical interests, and they play for a week or two or a month, and then, things fall apart for any number of reasons. But was there a moment when you said, this is actually going to be a band?
Yeah, I mean, it was, we gelled immediately. I think there was like a kind of cohesive, like everybody was on the same page as soon as we started just jamming and writing songs together, not with any real plan to, turn it into a band that would, play shows, make records and tour. But I think probably around, I don't know, maybe it was just, 6 months in after maybe like our first or second show, and we were all having a really good time, and our, people who came out to the shows were digging it. We thought, hey, this could, this might have legs.
Can we hear another song from the new album?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
static atmosphere.
Hogging hard. Yep.
That's Blaupunk from their new album, Earth, the new album by Møtrik. Jonah, I haven't talked to you yet. How long had the band been together when you joined?
It's a little bit, I don't know. I joined probably in like 2021. Yeah. I think that was the first show I played with Møtrik.
So a while in, like 7 or so years into it. What was it like to mesh with an existing quartet?
Well, I've known these guys for a long time. I've known Dave and Cord probably the longest, and maybe close to over 20 years, maybe. But during pandemic, they wanted to record an album, so I helped them record Moon. And after, when shows were opening up and people were kind of getting out again after the pandemic started, I think they wanted to kind of fill out the sound from the album. So I started playing percussion and conga and shaker. And then I think that's kind of, we've never stopped since then.
You mentioned folks going back out to shows again. Right now, we're you're performing in this room in the bottom of OPB with there's me, there's a couple videographers, there's nobody else here. What are your live shows normally like? just one guy on a stool with some papers in front of him.
Well, we brought the stagecraft with us.
Yes, you have sort of laser-like green lights attached to your glasses. There's fog. I mean, my understanding is that they're dance parties, trancey dance parties. Yeah, I know. I'm missing out. I will. I'll be there for the next one. Is there another 5-person band that you know of that has 4 synth players in it? There you are. You mentioned krautrock earlier. For folks who aren't familiar with the music that you're paying homage to and taking deep into the 21st century, what's krautrock?
I think it's each of us probably has a different answer. Personally, krautrock revolves around the beat, this Møtrik beat, which also inspires our name. But it's Møtrik is the beat after kind of like a car engine driving down the Autobahn. And it's 2 kicks, followed by a snare, followed by 3 kicks, followed by a snare, by 1 kick. And if you loop that, you get and you're off to the races. And I love that beat. And there's this band called Noi that pretty much invented that, at least in its long form, I feel. And to me, that's like the essence of krautrock. And I think historically it arose out of, there was this whole music in Germany post-war called Schlager, which was very, very straight-laced, very, what's the bubbles? Very loungy. And I think it's similar to what happened in the US in the 60s with, people started freeing their minds and they came up with new forms of music. And so that's like German krautrock is the, yeah.
They wanted to not associate themselves with like the British progressive rock scene at the time.
Yeah, there's striking similarities, I think, between it all. In my mind, it's rock and roll from Germany in the 60s. And then it launched into this whole kind of cosmic thing.
Let's hear another song. This is gonna be Still Life.
Yeah. I'm going to slow it down for you rave kids.
That is Still Life. You, in some of your earlier albums, you had a song that was 21 minutes long. You have some in your previous album that were 13 minutes long. This one, the new album, they're like pop song length, some of them. 2 minutes and change, 3 minutes and change. Some that are in the 5-minute range, but they're tighter songs just in terms of length. Why go shorter this time?
Because we already did the long ones.
It's an experiment.
An experiment. It's a conscious experiment. You said,
Conscious, yeah.
let's make these shorter. How does it feel different to do a 3-minute song versus a 21-minute song? Obviously, there's just the length itself, but I mean, like, I guess the feel of making music. How does it change?
You want to answer that?
I'll speak to the 21-minute. That was a improvisation that we cut down. So that was a very different process to make that one. I think the 13-minute ones, that's more where someone came in with an idea, and then we fleshed it out and played it as a song, and we'd play them live, and they'd go 15 minutes or so. In my mind, they don't feel that different to play. It's just we're getting to the point quicker with the shorter ones. I think a lot of those longer ones, there wasn't that much room for improvisation. It was like a set structure. We're just playing it a longer time. So you could almost think about these, like the song we just played, Still Life, you could just stretch out those changes and come up with a 15-minute song and, money in the bank. But we decided to you get a little more to the point a little more quickly. And I think personally, I feel like it feels similar. I don't know. What do you think, Cord?
I think I agree with that. There's a little less, like we get to kind of go drift off in our own little world and then spend some time and then look around and go, oh, okay, and then come back to it. There's a little less of that with this more focused. I think if Dave had it his way, they'd all be 20-minute songs. 'Cause
Absolutely.
He loves going out into that world, and we're not done with that formula at all. We're just...
Are we partly also talking about the difference between recording and performing? I mean, is there more space even for these shorter songs on the new album to breathe live, or are they also 3, 4, 5 minutes in performances?
Well, we've been performing them kind of like the album for the last, for this whole record release aspect of it. But I think there is room for that at some point. I think, we're getting through a bunch of shows and trying to be as true to the album as possible. But I think, as we continue to play, there will be opportunities to improvise.
That's kind of
we'll
the
step
fun
out
part.
occasionally. Yeah.
The fun part is getting them so tight that you can just kind of
Break it back apart.
Yeah, mess with it, and then bring it back.
Yeah, like I feel like we've learned, I don't want to jinx ourselves here, but I feel like we've learned the material now.
Yeah.
And now we can start to play with it a bit more live. Like the next song we're gonna play has a spot in there that Cord mentioned he wanted to like crack open a little bit. So I think that'd be fun.
I think one of the differences, that kind of going back to the recording process versus playing live, like with all of these songs with most of them, I think we came kind of each one of us came to the band with like a demo, and the demos were either, 80% there, or some of them were like 100% there, and we just learned them as they were, and some of them were really short, so they stayed.
It's not every band where every member brings a demo, brings their song to the band. I think that's maybe increasingly uncommon. Often bands are just one person with some name attached to that person, and then there are folks who play with that person. Here, all of you are songwriters. All of you are song creators.
None of us are that good.
That's the
it's
reason?
group
And it isn't
thing.
all of us either.
Yeah.
But I'd say 3 of us do a lot of the songwriting. 4. Then there's Lee.
Lee doesn't have to.
I think what happens is we bring in ideas, and then it gets run through the Møtrik machine, and so we all become songwriters for them. But yeah, the initial kernels of ideas or riffs, someone will bring that in, and then it definitely gets run through
The Møtrik machine.
the Autobahn. Yeah.
Yeah. Dave, what is it about long jams and improvisation that you love?
I like the ability to just drift off and lose myself in the music. With the shorter songs, you actually have to pay more attention to what's going on. With the longer songs, you get a chance to just breathe and look over at your friend doing that and go, oh, I want to do something that complements that. Or, I love that interweaving of, like, Court and I have been playing together for 20 years or more. And I can't think of anybody else I'd rather improvise with than Court, because we just know how to go back and forth.
Yeah, and while he's going off, I can go get a beer and come back, and he's still doing the same thing. It's great.
It does remind me that a lot. You were talking earlier about people dancing at your shows. There's a lot of music. Not that this is only for dancing, but a lot of music that people dance to now is not made with guitars and synths primarily. It's made with folks, often alone on a computer. And not to take anything away from that, there's amazing music can be made on a computer, but you're playing together. You're playing instruments, listening to each other, and making music with all kinds of technology, but you're still humans making music on instruments together. What does it mean to you to play instruments?
I don't really see it as I don't see another way.
It's better than playing with yourself.
I think, so many of us have jobs where we sit in front of computers all the time. And for me, it's like, I don't want to just sit in front of a computer and make music after sitting in front of the computer all day. So playing instruments is, I think part of all of our growing up, and it's just a part of us. So it's more fun. And also, like, the dance thing, I think, has a lot to do with BPM. Like, we try and keep it up for the most part. What we just played is probably the slowest song we ever play.
It's a ballad for you guys.
Yeah. And so it's like...
It's a slow dance.
Yeah, most of it has this, again, like what Eric was talking about, the driving beat. People just... It's kind of infectious at some point, and people just start to move. So it works.
All right. Well, Møtrik, it's fantastic having you guys here. We're going to hear one more song, but let me just remind folks one last time. We've been hearing Dave Fulton on synthesizers, Jonah Nolde on guitar and backing vocals, Lee Ritter on drums, Erik Golts on bass and vocals, Amato on guitar and synth. I also should say that Dave, Lee, and Eric used to work at OPB, and it's been a pleasure having the three of you back and all five of you here to hear you guys. You're going to go out on Mask from the new album, Earth.
Thanks for having us, Dave.
Thank you.
Real quick, for anyone that doesn't know what the Møtrik beat is, Lee, will you just give a quick sample of the Møtrik beat? So that's it. Loop that at home and pick up a bass.
How can you not play along with that?
Exactly.
It was hard just now.
Yeah.
it on. Put it on. Put it on.
I love that song.
Thanks.
Yeah, I really love it. Thank you, guys. But my work is done. But if you want to redo something, it's possible that Naleen will let you.